Renegade Naturalist here. Welcome to my channel. And for the first video, I just thought I'd do a quick guide on what I take when I go birding. Birding on a budget, I suppose. So let's get on with it. The one thing that's important is binoculars. I use the Nikon Pro Staff 7s, 10x42, waterproof. And when I bought these many years ago, I think they retailed around £200. I think you can get them for around about £210 now, brand new. But if you're working on like a budget, 200 quid, decent pair of binoculars. Don't let me down. Only thing I find is I'm 50 and they get a bit heavy when it's windy. Trying to hold and see and get blown about. But it's not a complaint. But they're really, really good pair of binoculars, I find. And the other thing that I take with me is my camera. This is a Panasonic Lumix DMC FZ72 60 times zoom. Put that on for you. So it's built-in zoom lens, so you can, take at distance if you want to. And I've got the cap on. I've took some good pictures on this, and I do find that sometimes by using that, when you take the picture, you don't think you've got a good picture. However, when I've reviewed them after, I've picked up some cracking pictures. Long-tailed tit, bearded reedling. I've picked up some good pictures of these things, amongst others. So yeah, so it's a good little camera. Because the mistake I made when I started birding again at the beginning of this year, my local patch is Pugneys Country Park. I just took my binoculars and a rucksack really, and I sat in a hide for 2-3 hours, and it was just off the reeds. And that morning, little egret were there. Even had kingfisher come and perch on metal fence directly outside the hide. And they were showing really well that day. Me, didn't have my camera with me that day, just had my phone. So the pictures that I got, the egret were pretty decent, but the kingfisher didn't turn out too well. So lesson learned, I now take my camera everywhere with me. So speaking of Pugneys, and that one hide that they've got now, as one of them has been dismantled because the bridge collapsed. Whether they're going to rebuild that, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I use this. It's a folding extension stool, because in some hides, well, my local at Pugneys doesn't have a stool in that hide, so it's really hard to sort of sit there and watch. So I do take my extended stool, packs up like that, goes into my bag, which is why my bag's so big, and literally all you do is extend it, and then you've got a solid stool. So it does add a bit of weight to your bag, but bottom line is you've got somewhere to sit, whether that's in a hide, on a banking, in a valley where birds are flying over. You've got somewhere dry to sit, other than sitting on damp grass in winter, I suppose. Other things that I still use, and yes, I'm old school, I'm in my 50s. I have my little black book, and all my sightings get written down in there. Old school, as I say, I prefer to do it that way. I do have a Merlin app, and I do use the Merlin app, mainly for birdsong, and I will next year. After I've completed this year, I think I'll get to know the Merlin app a little bit better and record it all on the Merlin app, my sightings. But I've always been a pen and pad kind of guy, so you'll see me normally in the hide. When I'm seeing things, I'll just write them down, because if I don't write them down, I'll forget. And yeah, Merlin app's good for recording what you see, but it's fantastic for birdsong. I tend to use that more just to hear what's around, and then I know what I'm looking for, because obviously a lot of bird calls sound very similar. Merlin app can't be 100% right all the time. So I use it as a guide, and I know that if I hear something, there's a good chance that I'll see it and I know what I'm looking for. So that's my advice on Merlin app, and I will get to know it better, and I will start recording my sightings on there moving forward. And again, another thing I use is a bird book. Other bird books aren't available, but they're ideal. I'm pretty clued up on birds, to be honest, but it's just nice sometimes if you're not sure, especially with winter plumage and things like that, that I can just have a quick pull out my pocket, have a look at my book. Or again, I do have bird apps on the phone, on my phone, and I'll look things up there. Sometimes I'll cross-reference, so I'll use a book and then I'll go into my apps on my phone, my birding apps for identification and cross-reference. Because I like to be 100% sure when I see a birdie from recording it. So, it's hard to get rid of that old school mentality for me. Other things I have in here is this little fella. I have a clamp for my scope, because sometimes I do take this little fella with me. It's don't take it all the time. I try and travel light, because if you're out birding for 6-8 hours and you've got a big bag on your shoulder, you can get backache. This is an ideal little scope, 20 by 60, so it's got a good field view. But really for scopes, the sort of things, if you're going to be sat somewhere and you've got your eye on something specific. So I have this scope, which is just a manual little thing that I can carry, and I do have a larger one for when I've done things like I was involved with the Wakefield Peregrine project several years ago, and this time of year when I have chicks, we go and stand outside Wakefield Cathedral, where the peregrines breed, and they have done for many years, and I think they've successfully had over 20 chicks fledge over the years. I would on occasions turn up with my scope and have it set on so people could look at the nest box and see the peregrines coming in and out. So I use that bigger one for things like that when I'm doing specific birding, if I'm just going to be concentrating on one place. And I'll take me telescopes specifically if I'm doing that, but I don't generally carry one every time I'm out birding, because as I say, it's all the way. I mean, this is my bag. So I am trying to travel light, and lately I've been just carrying my camera, my binoculars, and my little books and what have you, and my phone, obviously. But I also have this little thing, this little papoose, and it's a power bank to charge your battery, because when I'm creating content, as I do through my Instagram channel, before I got this YouTube channel, I'd shoot like little minute videos on the stories while I was out birding, and the battery drains really quickly, because I use that for photographs as well. But I've got my cables, my charging cables in here. At the back, it has got a scope attachment or phone attachment, binocular attachment, that you can use to put on to take pictures with your phone rather than your camera. And speaking of which, I was at St Aidan's this week, and little I was showing well. I managed to get some pictures on this bad boy, but I saw a guy using one of these, a binocular, as like basically a scope for his phone, and he'd got the attachment. I've got the attachment somewhere. Here we are, the new one, which is way better than the one I carry, because course, you attach your phone onto there, and then you just pop your scope into here, and then you can take your pictures. You line your lens up with your phone there, and it got some cracking pictures just with this phone. So in a day when you want to travel light and you don't necessarily want to take your camera battery goes flat, if you have these attachments, you can take some pretty decent photographs with it. I haven't field tested it properly. I only got it the day of speaking to that guy, and no, he didn't sell me it. I was just interested to see how he took his pictures. He was photographing the little owl like I was, so I just asked him a few questions and then went shopping. So I haven't really used this yet properly, but I will get there and see how we go with it. I mean, if it don't work too well with my camera, I can't master it that well. I've always got something just to carry in my pocket if I'm just out and about walking, and again, want another light day. But yeah, this is an 8x42 RSPB Avocet, and they retail around £75. But I'm pretty impressed with the pictures this guy took, so I'm hoping to have the same kind of success, because sometimes, you know, if you're in a rush, it's easy to get a picture with your phone than try and zoom in on a bridge camera like this. This is like the only thing because I'm not really tech, the only thing that I kind of struggle with a little bit with this, especially in flight, if there's birds in flight, is because you've got to press that to focus, and then that to also take the picture. And if you've got no to focus on when you're trying to capture the bird and zoom, it doesn't always give you a good picture. But that's what I was saying before about sometimes the pictures, when you're looking through the screen or the eyepiece, don't look great until you actually have a proper look at them on your PC when you get home, or just on your screen generally. So yeah, so I'm trying to get tooled up for every occasion best I can. Other things I carry: tissues, because you never know. Water, stay hydrated if you're going out on a big birding day. I tend to be out for minimum 4-6 hours. You know, 4 hours is a short stint for me. 6 hours is around average. But you know, I have done in the past been dropped off at a reserve at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and then been picked up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I spent a whole day there, because I can sit in hides for hours, which leads into like my mental health, which is very good for mental health. I feel being out birding, for me anyway, because I can just go out birding for a day, and the only thing I'm concentrating or thinking about is the birds, what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, what I'm photographing, what I'm watching, and don't get any other noise. You know, no problems, anything that's bothering me just disappears, and you know, I can just concentrate on good energy and birding. It's been this year especially, it's been a really good thing for me. I felt at peace being birding, and it's been good to be back birding, because I did take a little time off from the birding. Being a father of a 17-year-old, your interests and hobbies kind of take a back seat. But I was determined this year to get back on the horse. I am trying to get 200 lists this year. I've been out pretty much every week of the year, or every 2 weeks of the year, to my local, which is Pugneys Country Park or Aldmore. Done St Aidan's, RSPB at Swillington quite a lot. Newmiller Dam a couple of times. So I'm getting out and about, and this is what's going to be featured on here going forward, as and when I get a chance to do it. I am aiming to get out again very soon. But on this little video, this is what I carry. Yes, maybe I should travel a little bit lighter, and on the occasion I will. And next time I may show you and do an in-depth thing on the scopes that I use. But thanks for tuning in. bit of a short 15-minute video to start the channel. I've been trying to post things for a few weeks now. Here it is. It will get better. It is my first attempt, but thanks for tuning in, and I suppose like and subscribe.